الولايات المتحدة المكسيكية وتعرف باسم المكسيك هي جمهورية دستورية فيدرالية في أمريكا الشمالية، وتعد خامس أكبر بلد من الأمريكتين من حيث المساحة الكلية. كان لنا هذا الحوار مع سعادة سفيرة المكسيك بالقاهرة السيدة لينورا رويدا، والتي تعرفنا من خلال حوارنا معها على العديد من الجوانب وعمق وتاريخ العلاقات بين مصر والمكسيك. لقاءنا يكون مع سعادة سفيرة دولة المكسيك بالقاهرة السيدة ليونورا رويدا، وهي سفيرة المكسيك بالقاهرة. Welcome, Excellency, to our program. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Here you feel like at home. Like
Thank you.
This
Thank
little
you.
territory of Mexico.
Thank you. First of all, we need to shed a light on our bilateral relations, and we have a great bilateral relation historical background also.
That's right. We are celebrating this year the 66th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations and the establishment of embassies. And during all these years, we always have had a wonderful level of relations. Nowadays, I can say that we have an excellent level of political dialogue, a very promising economic panorama, and the cultural similarity between our countries has been a pillar of our relations.
We had also a great relation in our bilateral relation, looking forward for economic relation and trade.
Yes, of course, that's a very, very important issue. In our countries, unfortunately, trade has been very modest. $130 million. Between the exports and imports, we export to Mexico, export to Egypt some material for pipelines, plastics, and some raw materials for fertilizers. Telephones, some mobile telephones, auto parts. That's important. Very important part of the trade. Auto parts. And we import from Egypt mainly cotton garments.
Great.
And other part of the raw materials for fertilizers.
Talking about our culture relation and Maya culture, which is older, our pyramids or the pyramids in Mexico?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to say that our two countries are all civilizations that, being so far one from another, keep many similarities and coincidences. For me, that's wonderful. Wonderful to know and to discover. Each day I discover something different that get us together. Your pyramids are much older than Mexican pyramids. At least 1,500 older than the Egyptian ones. The difference, mainly difference, is that the Egyptian pyramids in general are more or less straight, with no steps, no? While the Mexicans have steps.
And we have the steps at the Zoser pyramid.
Yeah, but just there and no steps like the stone, we have. And the other is that the H's, the pyramids, Egyptian pyramids, have very sharp H's.
Yes.
The Mexicans are kind of curved. The other difference, very important, is that Egyptian pyramids were tombs. In Mexico, temples. where they make sacrifices and all that. So that's a great difference.
Okay. المكسيك لديها تراث وثقافة وحضارة فريدة، فهي بلد يتميز بالتنوع الثقافي الهائل، وتعد المكسيك واحدة من أبرز الوجهات السياحية في العالم، حيث تشتهر بمهرجانات مميزة والتي تجسد الجانب الاجتماعي من الشعب المكسيكي.
Please, Excellency, we need to know more about the traditions and the marriage and women in Mexico.
Well, let me tell you that fortunately in Mexico women has been empowered.
Women empowerment.
Yes. I mean, just I could tell you thousands of samples from the time of the relation with Spain, the New Spain. We have a wonderful woman, Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, in the 17th century. And she was a nun. And she wrote poetry.
Okay.
And in the poetry, she my skin gets goosebumps just thinking about her and her writing. She talks about the liberation of women.
Okay.
And for the people to change the ideas of having that women submitted to men. That was in the 7th century. But after that, after the independence of Mexico, women were keen in the fight for independence. And then for the revolution, during the time of the revolution, women were half of the fight were done by men, the other half by women. No. After that, Frida Kahlo, for instance, is one of the images, probably the most visualized woman that talks about the liberation, the empowerment of women. No, even though the suffering that she had, she
are still women suffering till now?
Yes, of course, we have been evolved little by little. And nowadays, for instance, the marriage that you asked me. In Mexico, the tradition is that you arrive to the marriage having before 1 year, 1 year and a half of
like
knowing each other before the marriage. They go out and they decide themselves, not the father, not the mother, with whom they are going to get married. No. They decide when, how they are going to get married and all that, if they are going to get married or not. You have time to meet the person, to meet each other,
discuss
and to see if they get along and all that. It's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed. But I think it's a step forward. No? And then they get married. We in Mexico we have a secular government, and we have the church. No, so we have for Catholics. 90% of the Mexican population is Catholic, but there are other religions, and we respect all kind of religions and all kind of believers. But in general, we are Catholic. So we like to have the state marriage, that is the legal one and the valid one. I mean, for bureaucracy with the state. We call by the civil registers. You marry there. Okay. And then you have the religious marriage. And with the religious, in the religious marriage, it's going to be in a church or in your house. Some priests come to your house, or some other religions, whoever represents for them the a spiritual authority. They get married, They are blessed, and then we have a party. And the party, you dance, you share with everybody happiness, you have a lot of nice food. For Mexicans, it's very important, the food. Yes, very important.
Very delicious.
Yes, some, of course, tequila, mezcal, wine, every kind of drinks, no? And, but I would like to underline that everything is according to what the groom and the girl, what they decide. You know? If you want to have a party, you have a party. If you don't want to have a party, you don't have to party. For the state, the most important is the paper.
The paper.
Yes.
As a woman, to be a diplomat or to be an ambassador nowadays, is it easy?
Well, let me start saying that fortunately, in Mexico, in general terms, because there are some very far remote communities that they don't have the opportunity, still we have that gap that we have to work on it. But in general terms, boys and girls have the same opportunity to go to the school to study. And that was my case. I study a lot. I have to work very hard, very young, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, actually. After I study commerce, and at the same time I work. Have time work, have time study. Unfortunately, going ahead, I had the opportunity to study my high school and all that, my university, and I had the great opportunity to present my exam to get into the foreign service. That is a career, foreign service. As you know, you start being third secretary, aggregate attaché, and then third secretary, second secretary, first secretary, counselor, minister, ambassador.
Okay.
So
you
I have gone
now on the top,
like my colleagues,
yes,
men and women. I have to say that, of course, for women, is a little bit more difficult. It's more difficult because you have to deal with the maternity, with having the children and having the husband.
Yeah.
And the husband needs to be a person that understands and respects your career. And sometimes it's difficult to find that husband. And that's one part. And the other part is the children.
Yes.
It's wonderful for the children of a diplomat to have the opportunity to travel. But on the other side, it's difficult for them to have that equilibrium, mental and spiritual equilibrium for changing places, you know, different countries, different cultures,
schools,
to adapt to that. So who succeed in that, they are going to be wonderful, you know, people of humanity, because they know and everything around the global diversity in this world. No, but sometimes you have to deal with people that doesn't have that strength, no, mentally and sometimes physically.
Physically, okay.
And for the mother, as a woman, you have to deal with that.
So you managed all of that.
Yes.
You succeeded already.
I succeed. Unfortunately, my husband passed away some years ago.
Sorry.
But it was a little difficult. He was a professor at the university, so he could ask for sabbatic time, you know, but not always and all that. So it was a little difficult.
نضجت عدة ثقافات وحضارات في أمريكا الوسطى ما قبل كولومبوس، مثل الأولماك والمايا والأزاتيك. المكسيك واحدة من أكبر اقتصاديات في العالم. تمتلك المكسيك عدد كبير من مواقع التراث العالمي لليونسكو، وهي ما يقرب من 31 موقعاً. أطلقت النواتل تسمية مكسيكو على قلب إمبراطورية الأزاتيك أي وادي المكسيك، وسموا شعبها مكسيكا.
Do you want to send any message for women to be strong? Excellency, we will move to your aim for calligraphy, and you had already a nice exhibition at Islamic Museum with a lot of ceramics and everything. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, you know that in Mexico, as in Egypt, as all civilizations precisely, as a result of that, we have really wonderful handcrafts and ceramics and artistic job. No? Very similar to Egypt.
Yeah.
For instance,
yeah, it's very nice here.
If you see this,
it's hand painted.
This is from Puebla, from the state of Puebla, nice. In Mexico. Mexico has a territory twice the territory of Egypt.
Okay.
And we have 32 states. Each state has a different kind of ceramics, of handcrafts, costumes, different. So nice. That's why it's very rich. In this case, sometimes, you know, they say, it's Egyptian. No, it's Mexican. From
Mexican.
The state of Puebla.
Also, we have similarities.
We have similarities. Really, we have similarities in our textiles. For instance, the textiles.
With the colors.
Exactly. The colors. We are very colorful.
Yeah.
Both countries, we are very colorful.
We like the colors, yes.
Yes. We like also the kind of stones, the brilliant things.
Yes.
You see these watermelons.
It's very nice.
And yes, we presented all the pieces that we have here at the residence of Mexico and at the houses of my staff, because, well, they are Mexicans. We bring with us our things, so everything was there at the Islamic Museum.
Great.
To share with our friends, Egyptian friends. And for them to see the similarities that we have.
Next step, we will go to Helwan University. You had a meeting with the president and vice president of Helwan University. Which kind of cooperation was it? And is it for languages or to study languages or what?
Well, you know that we have a very strong cooperation in cultural and the cultural area and education area. And I was precisely visiting the president of the university to try to identify areas where we can cooperate more. And we talk about, for instance, the government of Mexico makes call each year for students all around the world, but in this case for Egypt, for people that would like to make, some post-grad or doctorate in Mexico, and to have this opportunity to visit.
It's like
Mexico.
A scholarship?
It's part of the scholarship, yeah. And they can study literature or archaeology or medicine, including medicine. Also medicine or engineering. We have some scholarships in those areas. So it's a very diverse field of opportunities for Egyptians to go and make these specializations in Mexico.
Excellency, you had also a meeting with Minister of Tourism and Antiquities, and I think it was a nice cooperation to improve the number of tourists from Mexico to Egypt.
Well, yes, I have a wonderful meeting with Minister Isa, and fortunately we pushed for him and my Minister of Tourism to get together. They had a meeting in Berlin, in a tourism fair in Berlin, And I think that we still have room to promote more the tourism in the tourism. I want to say that Mexicans coming to Egypt are thousands, 30,000 just in 2023. But still, we need more Egyptians to go to Mexico.
Okay.
And I recommend very much that the people, that they can go there and they can enjoy.
Is it now a direct flight?
Unfortunately, we don't have a direct flight. And precisely one was of the teams I talked with the Minister, and he was very frank with me, telling me that unfortunately the numbers are not enough, not from Mexico to Egypt, but from Egyptians to Mexico. They are not enough to have a profitable, reputable flights, you know. So I need many Egyptians to go for us to have a direct flight. That would be wonderful. But still, there are many routes where you can take. You can go from here to Paris, to Madrid, to London, no, and from there to Mexico. So we are, I mean, a little bit more hours, but it's there. No problem.
سنستكمل مزيد من المعلومات والتفاصيل عن حضارة وثقافة المكسيك في الحلقة القادمة مع سعادة سفيرة المكسيك السيدة ليونورا رويدا. جسور ممتدة بين مصر والعالم.